parents strongly caution the following programs are intended for mature audiences over the age of 18. These programs may contain some material that many parents would not find suitable for children and may include intense violence, sexual situations, coarse language, and suggestive dialogue.
What's going on, everybody? This is Let's Talk After Dark, the podcast, where anything goes and nothing's off the table, but that won't be happening today. Yeah, you throw on the floor. I'm Benny. With me, as always,
Dame Rev.
Our special guest,
Marli Chai.
Our special guest is Mama.
Sharonda.
All right, so you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Let's Talk Us Now. You can listen to us on Google, Spotify, Apple, everywhere else. You can watch us on YouTube. I think we're ready to go.
Yeah, we just get started. We just get it. How are you ladies doing today?
Great.
You,
For the morning.
you do all right?
For the morning.
You gonna hang in there for the next hour? You'll be all right?
Until we eat.
Until food.
Yes.
How you doing, Mama? You doing good?
I'm watching Marli because she's about to throw me under the bus. I'm great. Yes.
Why is that?
Because she didn't have breakfast.
You gonna call social service? No.
Not sneaking us.
So what's been going on, Marli? What's new in your life?
What's new? Well, my birthday just passed. I guess that's new.
Okay.
But Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. How do you
Yes.
feel? Do you feel older?
I feel the same.
You feel
It hasn't kicked in yet. Everybody's saying it's gonna take a while for it to kick in.
It'll be once you start waking up
Yes.
and your knees are screaming. As soon as you open your eyes, when everything just hurts, you'll know you're getting that age
The
on.
knees. Gotta keep them.
You don't have that yet. Watch, you'll see.
They are cracking.
It's exciting. It's something to look for. You know what I'm talking about?
Right, I do. But you know what? Marli is like a little geriatric in the making.
I bent over to pick something up the other day, and my niece said, I said, wow.
Yeah, you see that? That's a preview.
That's a preview.
That's just a hint. Another 16 years, you just wake up like, ah! Like,
That's the preview. I don't want the full video.
All right, so introduce yourself. What do you do? Who are you?
Well, my name is Marli Chai. I'm from Springfield, Massachusetts. I am a published model. I do a little bit of acting here and there. I'm into all of the arts. I've been doing modeling since I was around 6 years old, and it's 2020 now. So I've been kind of on a hiatus, but I'm getting back into it. So this is like my first thing in a while.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
No, that's awesome.
You are our youngest guest.
Really?
Yes,
Ooh,
really.
I haven't heard that in a long
'Cause,
time.
like-
It feels good.
Like I said in the beginning of the show, this is Let's Talk After Dark. Where anything goes and nothing's off the table.
So what really happens?
But it's early morning this time.
Yeah, so
early morning chat.
we didn't want to go past your beds. No, I'm joking.
Not the bedtime.
So what was it? What made you get into it? What was it that...
Well, originally it was my sister, if I can remember the story correctly, because like I said, it's been a really long time. But I have a memory problem. But my sister was the model originally and the dancer and everything. And she did a fashion show once upon a time. I don't know if you guys know about IME. It's a fashion show originated here in Massachusetts by Tika Jones. And my sister did that fashion show. And everybody wanted me to do it. My mom wanted me to do it. And as soon as I got on the stage, I started crying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so modeling wasn't for me. And then like maybe about a year later, I was like, I want to try again and give it a try. And I did. And then I fell in love with it. And then I kept going for a really long time. And yeah, that was pretty much
So
much it.
back to the crying thing. How did that go?
Well, it was
Yeah, let's dive into that.
At the time, it wasn't too bad because, like, as a kid, it's expected.
It was okay.
It was bad.
I didn't think it was
We're going to get your perspective and
mom's
then your mom's
perspective. Let mom give her perspective first.
Marli was very shy. She had stage fright.
Yes,
She really bad. Her anxiety, like I literally had to bribe her with Toys R Us,
yes,
food,
Chuck E. Cheese,
like all of these things were supposed to happen literally after the show. Just to have her do the sibling scene with her sister because her sister did not want to do that scene with her brothers. And Marli was on the floor crying, kicking, screaming. And I was just like, please, Marli, please.
It's the kicking for me.
Yes. And, and she got up there and it was like night and day. Her sister came off the stage and was like, "Don't ever ask me to do this again." And Marley was like, "Okay, Mom, when's my next show?"
Yeah.
And then you got hooked afterwards.
Then I got hooked.
How big was that crowd?
It was a really big crowd because it was like one of the first fashion shows here in Springfield.
Yeah,
so everybody was like, "Oh, fashion show, let's go." But I remember it was at Rebecca Johnson, and I don't know, was that the first one?
was at Panache.
Yeah, the first one was at Panache.
Yes.
But that was the one I was like kind of scared to do. But then
The second
one at Rebecca Johnson was the one where I was like, okay, I'll try it out, and I did it, and then I was like in love with it. But the crowd was big.
What was
really
it that
big.
made you fall in love with it? Was it just the
I think,
crowd?
I think the attention.
Yeah.
I think everybody like yelling and screaming like, "Oh, she's so cute!" Because I was a really cute kid. I was cute. I was really cute. And then I remember like all the dressing up we had to do and the designers and all that stuff. It was just like it was really fun. It was like different and something I had never did before. So I kind of fell in love with it.
Well, you were 6, right?
Yeah,
So
when
you
I
didn't do
was
much.
Yeah, I didn't do much at all. I didn't do much at all. I hated everything. Like I wasn't one of the I don't know, I wasn't really one of the kids to always be outside
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So when I finally found something that I liked, which was modeling, I was very interested into it and very in tune with it and wanted to continue. So after that show, like that was it for me. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is my calling. This is for me."
So
Yeah.
you style yourself?
Well, sometimes, but today my aunt,
Today, let's talk about the ensemble.
the ensemble today is by Damiana's Boutique, which is my aunt's boutique here in Springfield, Massachusetts. And they have really fabulous, stylish clothes, as you guys can see. It's really nice.
Yeah, so those glasses, they don't have frames, right?
No, they don't have
Those are just
frames.
wires?
Yes.
That's
but they
cool.
sit like this.
Yeah.
They don't move or anything. They're very sturdy and they're very nice.
That's actually really... I've never seen that before.
So you're just making fun of blind people? No, just joking.
No,
Yeah,
because
you
I'm
just-
kind of blind too.
You transcended. No, because like when I saw him, and I know that's the first time I've ever seen... Because it doesn't have the top part.
I didn't know
Right.
it either. I didn't either.
When I
Until
saw them
she-
sitting there, I thought they had the frames.
Right. I looked at her this morning and I was like, okay, they don't have any.
They don't have... So what was the first thought?
I asked her, I was like, are they supposed to be like
Yeah.
Nah, because fashion's weird.
But she
It's so
has
weird.
Marley has a really keen sense of fashion.
Yeah. I
love it.
Her aunt styles her for most of her appearances
And events.
because Yvette Anderson, she's the CEO of Damiana's
Damiana's
Boutique.
Boutique.
She has beautiful things, so everybody go check her out. But so she keeps Marley looking the part, but Marley herself has a really keen eye for fashion.
I love different stuff.
She's very different. Like Marley could go into a thrift store and make it look like it's coming out of Nordstrom's.
Which I did like 4 weeks ago.
They got good stuff in there.
They do.
They
got
really,
some
like
really good
people
stuff in
don't
there.
realize like you'd be surprised what you'd find in a Savers and a Goodwill.
I tell people that all the time. It's like fashion isn't necessarily about like high end or big brand or labels. It's like when you really have style when you can go into a thrift store and find a good outfit. Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't feel like fashion is necessarily just about labels or
It's just about the eye.
yeah, it's about the eye, how you put things together. Because you can spend $10 and put an awesome outfit together. Like,
And she's done it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, I
Yes.
need some of those... Because I just wear a black shirt and jeans. That's
Me too when I have nowhere to go.
that's where I'm
All the
at.
time.
That's my biggest complaint.
That's just
Hey,
his
you know,
outfit.
I look like a cartoon character. Like I'm always dressed exactly the same.
Me at home.
So you've been at this for 10 years.
Yes. Oh, wow, you did the math calculation.
Yeah,
fast.
No,
I mean-
the whole time you were talking, I was calculating it in my head. 10 long years. So
Yes.
you've done a lot. So what are some of your biggest, you feel personally, some of your biggest accomplishments that made you feel like the most proud?
The most proud. Definitely anytime I have received an award.
What'd you get?
Yeah, I have many awards. A lot of them I can't even remember
Oh.
because they're sitting in my office right now. But like,
Oh, you got an office.
well,
Bougie.
my mommy sits in the office. She does the office stuff. But like, it's like there's so many different things from so many projects or so many events that I have been to. Like
Model of the year.
model of the year,
Designer.
designer of the year. So many things that are big that even other people who are really great, I would have thought
Yeah.
those rewards, but
You got him.
yeah, and it's sometimes I think about it, I'm like, wow, like I
We
really
didn't even remember
achieved
who
a
was
lot.
in the running.
Yeah, but like in the humblest way possible though. Like there's a lot of people who are at these events who really deserve these things. And you know, they see me and they're like, well, you deserve it, so we're gonna give it to you. And I'm like, wow, thank you. It makes me very happy. It makes me very, very
quite a bit
happy.
of proclamations from her city. Springfield
Yes.
has the mayor.
Given
He's a
me
big
many
supporter
things.
of
Mayor
hers.
Sarno.
Yes. She's received lots of proclamations. Model of the Year doing New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
She's
That's always
Designer
fun.
of the Year. That's really, really big because that's a passion, but that's like when she receives that award for her, it's like, because that's not her forefront of what she focuses on. It's just something else that she does that she's really good at. So
Right.
when she receives an accolade for her designs, it's like, wow, you really did that.
It makes you happy.
And she's so creative with it.
Because
So.
people don't understand like those type of things when it comes to modeling or designing. It actually does take a lot of work. Like it takes a lot of work. Yeah. Some people think that you just like go to a show and you get on a runway and you walk, but that's not always the case. You know, especially with me being my age. So since I'm younger, sometimes it's harder to do certain things or to get into certain shows. And so it takes a lot of work and dedication and drive to continuously have to do these things. And you know, it makes me proud and happy when I do get rewarded for it or someone acknowledges me for it, because it's not always, you know, the glitz and glamour and, you know, the fun of it.
It's been a lot of hard.
It's a grind.
It is.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
I've been part a little bit. I've been part of
You
the
been modeling?
behind the scenes. No, I used to work with a photographer.
Okay.
So I know I've just watched and go, wow, like I couldn't, especially the shoots are so exhausting.
Yes.
Just imagine
they're so long.
having a child doing it. So a lot of the legwork, the onus is on the parents because she's the brand, she's the face, and it's her craft. But like she said, like that, being able to get her into certain things, certain shows, that part is tedious, and that the onus of that is on the parent or the manager. In her case, she had a momager. You know? So, which is like kind of like a double-edged sword. You know, it's good and bad. But it was a lot of heartache involved in Marli's process. It wasn't always, you know, people, like she said, they see the glitz and glam, you know, they see her on the runway, they might see her on a red carpet, they see her photos, you know, on social media, but that behind the scenes and what you have to deal with, especially in major cities like New York, Chicago, you know, Atlanta.
And there's a lot of talent in those places too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
imagine like being around all these people who are really, you gotta have a good head on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Cause there's a lot of talented kids. Like there's been times like even when I would go to acting like or do certain things out of New Jersey, and there's a lot of talented kids who sing and dance and stuff. And sometimes like it can really make you question yourself. Like, am I built for this? Because there's a lot of people in this industry who are really good.
Especially in that area.
Yeah.
See, here it's, you know, it's becoming more, you know, in Springfield and in Massachusetts. And I think largely in part to Marli and as well as Tika bringing the IME show here. And Marli would come back and she would bring her craft back to Springfield. Like, and she has a show, Sidewalks to Catwalks, where she, you know, would open it up to community kids. But in those areas, New Jersey and New York, this is what these children live for.
Like,
This is
all
what
the
they do
time.
day in and day out. So when you see that talent and the parents, it's like
They're hardcore.
they're horrible.
They're hardcore.
But and when I say horrible in the best way, like this is literally, it's a job for the parents and for the kids. They eat, sleep, and breathe this.
Like dance moms?
Like
I just want to talk about that.
And literally, that's what it is.
So it's like dance moms.
Like you are really having it out with parents and, you know, and their children.
There's a lot of bratty
It really is.
bratty kids.
Yeah. And
And some of
thankfully,
them are humble too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong. Like, there's a lot of kids there who are like very humble. Like, I've befriended and still speak to a lot of them. Like, I just did a video shoot with, she's like my big sister. Her name is Tyann, and she's also a designer for her collection, Pinky Says, and she's based out of New Jersey and New York. And I just went. She just literally, I haven't spoke to them in so long, but we always keep tabs on each other to stay connected. And she literally invited me to her newest music video, or for her song, her new single, and she invited me to come be in her video. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool that you can make new friends and keep those relationships
Network,
with people.
get those
Yeah.
things going. That's awesome.
And you grow together and you see what they're becoming and what they're growing into, because like we said, they're very talented. They're very, very talented.
So would you say your age is like the hardest part right now of what you do?
I would kind of, yes.
As far as getting into things?
Yes, definitely. And at this point, not even so much because of me being younger. I think it's more of look wise now, because like, when you're little, you're cute. Right. Like, you're cute. It's easy to get in things. It's like, oh, hi, my name is Marli. Like, can I be in your show?
Right.
It's cute, and they're like, oh yes, walk through me. But it's like when you're getting older, you're starting to look different. It's harder to get into certain things, and that's why I think now I want to focus more so on the behind the scenes and more of training and sculpting and molding and designing and stuff like that. I'm more into the behind the scenes stuff now. Like, I still love to walk. Like, I love doing fashion shows, but it's like
I got
now,
mom over here.
I know.
That's awesome to see, though.
She is such an amazing talent. And I think for me, with her, and not because I'm her mother and I say this all the time, because Marli is a raw talent. Yeah. She is a natural, she's self-taught. She has had her coach here, Jordan Lewis, aka London Escada,
who's been coaching me since I was like 5.
Yeah. And he was just on that reality show for HBO, Legendary. He's awesome. But outside of London, Marli is self-trained. Yeah. It is just a natural ability, and she is amazing on the runway. Like, if the opportunity presented itself, she could rival Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell.
You think so?
I know so.
Miss Naomi Campbell.
Yes. And I say that, and I don't say that in a disrespectful way.
I know.
No, I know what you're saying.
We're just teasing.
Yeah, she's just very talented, and she looks great on the runway.
Thanks,
But
Mom.
now it's like, okay, we're in that crossroad of her being a teenager, and see, this industry, they start you're considered an adult in the industry at like 14.
Oh, really?
14, 15, you walk adult runway. Yes.
Oh, wow. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Like 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's crazy.
And she, but she kind of has some things that the industry, like, she's considered a petite model.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have the height. She's not the traditional 5'9".
And I used to be very tall.
Is that the standard?
Well, I feel like now, it's 2020, so like a lot of different standards are broken. But it's like the industry will always be the industry. They're always looking for something specific. It's like new things can be brought in, but there's always like something that there's something that you'll always be interested in because you're interested in it. Like, something you'll always like, but you still like new things and like to learn new things. I feel like that's kind of like the industry. It's like there's always a standard look, but they're always accepting to new things. And especially because it's 2020, there's a lot of rules that are being broken and a lot of new things that are coming in, which is great. Like, and I'm happy to see it.
It wasn't always easy.
It wasn't always easy and simple like that.
Traditional, like what they considered a European look.
Yeah.
So they, what you see in the magazines, that really is a lot of times what designers are looking for.
Right.
If you're not a size 0 to 1 and 5'8", 5'9", you're not walking for a certain type of designer.
Right.
I never understood it because I feel like most people aren't even that size.
Well, a lot of times I can say this. I'm not not justifying it at all, but like I know that some designers, what they put out are samples or are like the first creation that they make. So it's like one size.
Right.
So like when you're seeing it on the runway, that's that one size. It's not like multiple of it yet.
Yeah.
So it's like on the model and it's like, okay, we need a smaller model because this is exactly what is designed. Unless it's like a plus size model or a plus size designer or something like that, or just a designer who creates things in different sizes for different models. Because a lot of the times, like the samples, they are very small, and there's even on occasions where I was modeling when I was younger and I was already tiny where I couldn't fit some of the samples because they're very tiny.
Why they make them so small? Is it like a fabric shortage?
I'm not sure. I don't know what it's for. I don't know what it's for.
I don't know if people are going to like it, so I'm just going to make a little one.
Yeah. It's like I'm going to make a little one, put it out there, and see who likes it.
Well, I think it goes back to, you know, the look that they're looking for, and we have to be honest about it.
Yeah.
And those are some of the things, you know, when I'm talking to other parents and giving them advice of, you know, preparing themselves and their child for that, like that's a real reality. When you have children of color, you know, my brown skinned girl had to fight, you know, for certain shows or even certain designers because of, and not because it was racism per se, just because it wasn't the look
to break out of that norm that they set up.
So she's a petite model, she's brown, you know, she's not biracial. Biracial children tend to have it a little bit easier in the industry because they have a look.
And then if you are, I'm just gonna say black, like if you are a black model, like I am, African American model, whatever you want to call it, it's like, you know, it's kind of harder because they feel like there's also a standard look for us too. Like you have to be either really light skin, or if you are of darker complexion, you have to look a certain way and have the high cheekbones, and you know what I mean. Even when you go and sometimes just getting your makeup done at certain fashion shows, they don't always have your color or have your complexion. There's been times where I've been to a fashion show and I've got my makeup done and look completely washed out. And you know, a lot of times they'll say to you, "Oh, you don't need makeup," because of like our skin.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, "Oh, you don't need makeup. You look fine. Like you're pretty enough. Like go."
And I'm in there like, no, she's getting in that chair.
Yeah. Like I want to. Why can't I?
You gonna mix some colors?
Yes. Like just like you do for everybody else. Yes. Like just like you do for everyone else. I want to be in the chair too.
With you saying you have to fight for like certain spots, do you after? I don't know how to say it, but like if you have to fight for those spots, do you really want those spots? You know what I mean?
I think it's when I say a double-edged sword, you do, and it's like you want to fight for them because it's not just for Marli,
Right,
it's for
for
those
others.
coming behind her,
Yeah.
or those that are standing next to her. So you are in this fight, and it's not a bad fight. Like it's par for the course of learning the industry, and we, you know, I was self-taught in this industry, working for Marli. I work for Marli. When it comes to, you know, her business. And so we learned together. We cried a lot together. You know, I did a lot of consoling, but there are a lot of good moments as well. But you definitely, you have to be firm, and you have to have tough skin in this business. You have to not, and I had to learn, Marli has been my teacher for this, not to personalize everything, because it was hard being her mom. So I was mom first, then momager, and I personalized everything because that's my baby. And yeah, there was a lot of wrath at a lot of times.
I don't feel like I took things too seriously.
She didn't.
I really.
No, you have
I
a very
just
different
enjoyed it
job
all.
than your mother does, though.
That is true, and
her
then
personality.
and then she's my mom. But like, I feel like that's just me with life in general. Like, I just don't take everything too personally, and that's why with like the whole modeling thing, I just kind of had to learn how to have thick skin, and then doing it since I was younger, it's kind of like, you know, it was easier. Because I was young doing it, so I just grew up understanding certain things. I didn't have to grasp too much, other than certain circumstances where I would have to learn different things. But other than that, it's like everything was pretty, like, okay, I get this because I've been doing this. So it's just like every time I did something, I was learning something, and it became normal.
The norm.
Yeah.
So for 10 years, you broke these glass ceilings.
Yes.
And paved these ways. I have a question for both of you.
Okay.
Knowing now, because I'm learning a lot from both of you about this. I'm a comedian.
great.
I just go on stage, I tell jokes. You know, so I'm learning about your world.
Right.
And I'm learning about, you know, the behind the scenes and how difficult it can be, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. And My question for each of you separately, because I know you have very different roles to play towards working towards the same goal, is what is your driving force? Like what, because knowing how difficult it is and knowing how emotionally taxing it can be and how physically taxing it can be, what keeps you going?
Being the end result, just being successful at the end of it all. Like, my mom, she's of course one of my driving forces because she helps me to continue and to keep going because she always pushes me to do better and to better myself. But I feel like the end result being me just being successful and being in a place where I really want to be, that doesn't necessarily mean being the top model or being the best designer in the world. It just means being something, I don't know, just something successful, doing something positive, something that's important, something that's, I don't know.
For me, I think it's because Marli is she's such a humble kid.
Yeah.
And she, like, her personality is just, to know her is to love her. And again, not because she's mine, just, and she is so humble and so loving. And I think, for other kids to see it's possible. Coming out of Springfield, and I'm not saying there's not a lot of opportunity, but we're talking about this industry.
It's harder.
There's
It
not
is harder.
This is not a major metropolitan
It's not
city.
like coming out of Boston and you know where it is.
And that's why I say successful.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you have some type of success, and I feel like I have achieved a lot of it, I feel like the more you do, because I feel like success can be never ending. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So, like, when other people are looking up to you, or there's people around you who can look at you and say, like, I want to be like that, or I want to grow up to do things like that and to achieve things and achieve more. You know what I mean? I want to be an example for people to be able to look and say, wow, like, she really did that. It doesn't have to be the biggest name, but just for someone to look at me and say, I want to be like that. I want to grow to have that kind of drive.
And I think for me as a mom, for other parents to know, what, support your kids.
Yeah, that's very important.
Support what they want to do. I think my generation, and it's a lot of times it's like, what, you go to school, you kind of have this criteria for your children.
Yeah.
You're going to get that degree, you're going to, finish high school, maybe off to college or whatever. But I had to learn, even with her siblings, because I've been doing this momager thing for a long time. Marli's not the first. She came after her brother, who was a rapper, had a business. And I used to manage him as well. And so if your kids come to you and say they're interested in something, take it seriously.
And support them.
At least give them the opportunity in the best way that you can to let them explore. Because these industries are expensive. I tell parents that too. It is very costly. I literally stopped working to support Marli's dream. So there are sacrifices, and when they're younger, the onus becomes on the parent. So are you willing to make those sacrifices? Everybody can't. But I say to parents, do it within your means and within your moderation, but support what they're interested in, because you never know, at
how
least,
far it can bring you guys.
Exactly. And so, for her, when, whatever it is, I tell her all the time, when you're ready to stop this, we'll stop. If you want to play an instrument, if you want to play a sport, whatever, we'll try that. This happens to be what she was interested in. Like, you'll know when your kids are serious about something.
Yeah.
So you can take it seriously. It's like, okay, this isn't going to be a waste of time or a waste of money. Like, she really wanted it, and she was good at it. So, for me, that was kind of like my driving force. And like she said, the end result, to know she's got it.
Right.
We can do this thing here.
That I was going to get somewhere.
Yes.
It's good to see that, because a lot of times I see it's like the parent
pushing the child.
Pushing the kid, especially a lot of times you run into the parent that didn't make it, that is really trying to take
live
their
through
dreams. Like live vicariously through their children. But
Yes.
this is really just
it's authentic.
your amazingness, like your
you.
your talent and your drive and your ambition, and your mom is just being your battery.
Thank you.
Which is really good to see.
Oh, she keeps me in check though. And sometimes she'll be like, don't do it, Mom. I don't, if she's not interested, or if she's not feeling it, and I'm sometimes like, Marley, come on,
Yeah, you want to encourage.
You can do this, like, and she's just like, no, Mom. I'm just like, okay.
So
okay.
You said you took a little break. Why is that?
To focus on more of myself, like in growing up and doing normal kid things, because like I said, I've been doing the modeling for a very long time, and all of the other stuff and acting, training, like a lot of that stuff for a very long time, and I kind of felt like I just needed space and personal time to really not necessarily just see if that was what I wanted to do for sure for not the rest of my life, but for even longer. But I wanted to make sure that I was the person that I wanted to be. Because when you're in that kind of industry, or even just doing modeling or constantly doing shows all the time, it can become very tiring and draining. You kind of lose sight of self. If we're being real, like, you lose sight of self.
Yeah. We know.
Yeah, like, that's just everyday life. That comes with anything. But like, with that being said, I just wanted to focus on me and do normal kid things, and then me becoming a teenager now. I wanted to do childhood stuff. And even when I was modeling, though, I had a childhood. Like, my mom always made sure it was still fun and that I was still doing normal kid stuff. Like, and I think that was the best part of having a business at a young age, because I was always surrounded around kids. So it's like, I was being the boss, but I was also still around people my age. I was still doing activities. After certain fashion shows, we would go to the museum, go to Chuck E. Cheese, go do fun stuff.
Even when she was working, like, they knew, like, if it was the same day or the next day, we would have to take something, and it would have to be educational. We would still have to, the reality of learning important things and new things. So, that was important for me with her and her team. But Marley was homeschooled for a long time, from 4th grade to 8th.
All the way to middle school.
4th to 8th?
Yeah, all throughout middle school.
Because she was on the road so much.
Yeah,
so it was important, like she said, for her to just kind of be normal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I decided to start back regular public school, and to get the high school experience. I mean, that's been going okay. I don't.
When did you start that?
That was my freshman year, so last year. Well, last year, 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so my freshman year of high school, I went back to public school, regular school, just to see what it was like. I mean, I've always been kind of a people person. Like, I don't know. I know you guys probably heard the term, like, socially antisocial. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of me. Like, I love being around people, but once my social battery runs out, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But I still like the aspect of regular school. I wanted to see what that was like, the whole high school experience. Obviously, it wasn't going to be like High School Musical, but I wanted to see what it would be like interacting with other kids on an educational level, and being in a classroom setting all day, and just getting that experience, because homeschooling was really good for me due to how I am and how my modeling and working was, and then just how my personality was, because I've always been very mature. So I was kind of nervous about that going back into regular school, but I really wanted to do it just to have that normal teen feeling aspect, I guess. And it's been going okay. It's been going pretty good.
No, I mean, now you're back to homeschool.
Right.
That's what I was actually going to get into. Like, how has the coronavirus affected not only just your business, but your life? Because we're not in school, so we don't. Right. I went to school at school, and now I'm looking at what's going on these days, and I notice it's different, and it's affecting these kids, like, psychologically, because you're not like we're more used to being by ourselves a little bit more when you're adults, but when you're kids and your life is going out and going to school and then that's gone. Like, what have been some of the challenges, not only just business but in personal life?
I'll start with personally. It's just been kind of I don't know how to explain it. It's different. I mean, it's a little bit different than homeschooling, because homeschooling, everything is kind of, you can do it at your own pace. With the whole online school and everything, it's very different. I feel like it's personally more difficult for me because I'm a hands-on student. I'm more of a physical learner. I like seeing things, learning things written out, etc. Doing things on the computer is harder for me. I'm not a very good virtual learner. I'm not. It's not for me. I feel like more hands-on stuff with the teacher, even when I was homeschooling, because my mom was homeschooling me, it was easier because someone was there to guide you through it. But now that everything's set and it's on a computer and on a screen, it's harder for me. And most people would think it's easier because it's on a laptop. And, you know, because this day and age, everybody thinks it's social media, phone, laptop, everything technology. But for me, it wasn't like that because, yes, I am on my phone. But when it comes to learning, I need old school. It's a challenge. I need old school learning because, I don't know, it's difficult. I mean, the good thing about this is that, you know, you do have friends and you're all in the same circle, so you can help each other. I guess that works because in school you can't necessarily do that. It's more of doing things on your own. But I think that, you know, the fact that we are doing this outside of school and it's online, but you have your friends still, you can help each other. Like, you know,
I think parents are stressed out.
Yeah, parents are definitely
stressed out. It wasn't that bad for me because, again, I was familiar with being home with Marley. Mm-hmm. So it didn't take a toll on me because I had the experience. Like she said, homeschooling is very different. You have to meet the criteria of homeschooling, which is 980 hours, but you could do it at your own pace. Mm-hmm. I developed her curriculum because I'm a retired teacher. So I was so she was able to, you know, take her work and implement that in her learning curriculum. Right. So homeschooling is very different. It's
different than this online stuff.
But the online, it's like, I don't want to sit at this computer with Marley all day
and
make sure she's doing her work. You know, and parents, and if you're working a full-time job, how does that happen? And where are the supports coming for the kids? I think it's very, very difficult. But it can be done.
But it's difficult, and it does have its perks. It does have its perks, and it does have its, you know, everything has its good things and its bad things. I feel like, I don't know, I just prefer the more physical aspect of school more so than whether it's homeschooling or in a classroom setting. I just prefer more of physical learning with a teacher, doing things, you know, even if we do some things on a computer or a laptop, but not everything.
Right.
It's just, it becomes draining looking at a screen all day or having a set time just to go on the computer.
So they expect you to be in that like all day long?
Well, not all day. There's specific times for certain things, at least at my school. You know, there's certain times we'll do certain things or get things done. And then, you know, you have the Google Classroom and the Zoom meetings. It's just a lot to keep up with.
Yeah.
It's organized. Yeah, you got to be really organized. And then being at home, I know that's so hard for a lot of people because it's hard for me because I'm not the most organized person, especially when it just comes to normal school. Something as simple as a backpack is not super organized for me. So it's like being on a laptop, having to keep up with the classes, the meetings, the live classes, certain things, watching videos. Sometimes you'll have to watch a whole video for hours at a time just to do a specific assignment.
Like,
it's
did
like
you go in and she's like, "Oh, it's time already."
Yeah, it's like
So
it's a lot.
Like a more, because when I went to college, I took some courses online, and this sounds like more difficult because that was hard, especially when you have to read some ridiculous essay from somebody who you don't know, and you got to take out the type of visualizations and all this stuff that they're using, and like that without having a teacher there, that's difficult. But this seems like this actually seems harder.
It's like that,
like
but a little
college.
harder. Yeah, it is. And then I'm sure it's hard. It's hard on the teachers too, so which makes it even more hard because when you have teachers, you're used to just following them or following what they say, or some kids, but like following what they say or what, you know, the curriculum that they have for us. But then it's like they're learning too as they go and they're trying to get the hang of it, or they are getting the hang of it. But you know, there's still some nips and knots and turns in it. So everybody's just really learning together, which makes it a little harder because from a teacher, it's like, I'm supposed to be learning from you, but we're all learning this together because it's so hard. And it's really difficult.
Yeah, it's been a challenge.
Yeah. But maybe this year will be different because they're starting out the whole first semester with this remote learning.
So it's just the first semester now?
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just right now. And then they'll come back in November and reevaluate to see what the next learning module will be based off of, you know, numbers and what this virus is doing.
Looking at.
So right now, we'll start off the year remote learning. So, and I think, it's now parents, we kind of know now. So we kind of know what the expectations are. Last year, we were just kind of thrown into it. So now starting school in September, we know kind of what we have to do a little bit better, what's needed. Although it's still going to be difficult, for a lot of parents, but you have a better understanding because last year was kind of like the training and the prep.
Right.
So you go into September with a different outlook. So it might make it a little bit easier for some parents and some
Hopefully.
students. Hopefully. Yeah, and on top of them home eating all darn day.
Oh yes, we're gonna get lots of
That gets
snacks.
expensive. No, groceries went up. Is it just me or did groceries go up?
Yeah,
Because
it
I
went
got
up.
some ketchup, some mustard,
Yes.
some hot dogs. It was like $108.
Groceries have gone up. And you're talking about breakfast, lunch, dinner. They want snacks all day.
They
And
want to
this-
eat
they
every
wanna eat
day.
and I'll tell you, this is how they get through, sitting at that computer. They need a snack.
Because a lot of times you're just sitting there looking at them. Everybody's in there just like there's nothing else to do. So it's like, I need my snacks, something to keep me awake because I will shut this computer. No, but seriously, it just gets boring, like
Plus, when you're at
tiring.
home and you have all the other distractions of just being home and you have
Yes.
like all your stuff there.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure that comes into play.
Definitely. There's definitely been times when my little brother has walked in during a Zoom meeting and I'm like, sir, please exit stage left. Trying to focus.
And he's supposed to be on his computer doing
Yes.
it.
Doing his stuff.
Right. And
And he's calling me, Marley, can you make me a snack, please?
Now, are you the youngest?
Well, I was originally, but no, not anymore. Not anymore. I'm not the youngest, but I love my little brother.
6.
He's 6.
Oh, you got a 6-year-old.
Yeah, he's little, but big. Yeah. Little but big.
So how's it affected? Like, what's going on in fashion now?
Fashion
with
now
the virus
with the virus.
going on?
It's, for me, it's a little more, not necessarily difficult, but it gives me more time to have more of a creative outlook on what I want to do next. It gives me time to build and rebrand and figure out what I'm trying to start up for the next year or whenever this pandemic is over. It gives me time to figure out new collections, how I want to rebrand my business because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm rebranding because originally my company was named Boss Babies Modeling Agency, and it was more for the youth and younger kids and, just little people. And I think I want to do something different. And like I said, I want to kind of work behind the scenes now and just figure out some other things that I want to do. Because like I said, I've been doing the modeling for a very long time. I think it's time to just start fresh, try new things, build new things with this business, and still be able to continue the modeling. But I want to take it elsewhere. So the pandemic has kind of been helping me because I have some new, fresh ideas. It's giving me a lot of time to think and process, which I think is good. I think that's very good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We all have plenty of time to
To
think.
think and process. I feel like some people aren't taking advantage of that. You got to use this time while you have it off and use it wisely because it's gonna be over one day.
Speaking of time, it is that time. We have reached our time.
Already?
Yeah, it goes by
Fun on
quick,
the
right?
show.
Oh my goodness, it went by fast.
All right. So if you want to tell people where they can follow you,
Yes.
and you want to say anything to the fans
Yeah, but
or
what's
people,
next?
whatever.
Well, what's next? I will be writing an article for Style and Soul magazine soon, so look out for that. I'll be posting that information on my Instagram at the Marli Chai, MarliChai on Instagram, and that's always where I post all of my information and new projects. So if you guys want to look out for those things, you can look there. And then my mom runs the Marli Chai fan page. You got to tell them that information.
Marli Chai fan page, MarliChai fan page on Instagram. Like she says, she has a new project she's going to be writing for Style and Soul magazine based out of New York.
Yes.
Her radio show will be starting
up soon.
for DBN. Starting up soon.
Oh, awesome.
Oh,
she-
nice.
She's
Nice.
had a TV show for Focus, so we're hoping to
Pick that back up.
New collections, rebranding. So just look out. She
Just
has
a lot of stuff.
some new projects that will we'll be looking for new and fresh talent in the city.
Definitely, yes.
Teenagers, yes. So young ladies, we're looking for older models to work on a really awesome project based out of New Jersey and New York. So yeah, just keep an eye out for her. Really
Yes.
excited about what's to come.
Yes. And all that information will be posted on those pages, so you don't gotta look too far. It'll be there.
All right, cool. Thank you, beautiful ladies, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having us. This was fun.
It was, right?
That's good to know.
I'm gonna come back and bother you guys.
All right. But all right, everybody, this is the Let's Talk After Not So Dark podcast today.
After breakfast.
After
Yes.
breakfast podcast.
After breakfast and after no breakfast for me.
But all right, so you can follow us again on Instagram, Facebook. Let's Talk Us Now. Listen to us on Google, Apple, Spotify. Watch us on YouTube. I'm Benny. You can follow me at Benny B Design.
Damian Rivera. Follow me at Damian Rivera Comedy at everything. I do the same things for everything.
All right, that works. But all right, we're all set. Peace. See ya. Have a good one.